Happy Friday, my friends. Oh, it is a great Friday indeed. We've had 2 great days to start the month of May. Can we keep that momentum going today? I've got a few best bets for you guys in the NBA and MLB. Let's see if we can do it again. This is the Free 3. What's up, guys? It's your boy Noble Living back with another DYF Bets video where I'm breaking down my favorite picks and plays of the day as we just try to get to the bag together and make some money. Yesterday, a 3-0 day. Oh, man, it's been so long since I could say that we've had a sweep on the channel. Oh, baby. Let's go. Cashed it on the Guardians' first 5-run line. No sweat bet there. They would have covered on the money line as well. Let's get it done. Josh Hart, he hits the three-pointer to win the game. Shout out to the Knicks for moving on. And that puts us over the 14.5 points. And the Sixers Knicks is over. No sweat bet there. I mean, that thing flew over. By the second quarter, you knew that thing was going over. So I'm super excited on those wins. 3-0 yesterday. Hopefully we can keep that momentum going again today. 6-1 to start the month of May. Let's keep the momentum going because that cold April, I told you that April showers bring May flowers, baby. So hopefully we can keep doing that. If you can, smash that subscribe button and hit that like button as well for me as we continue to grow. Get this video out to more people, and like I mentioned before, these videos are also on your favorite podcasting platforms as well now, so make sure you guys tap into those as well when you're in the car, when you're traveling, whatever the case may be. So now let's dive into the best bets for today. For my first best bet of the day, let's head over to the NBA slate. We've got 2 playoff matchups, and I'm going to go to the late night Clippers and Mavericks matchup, and my analysis is going to be very similar to what I did yesterday with the Knicks and 76ers. The Mavericks have an opportunity now at home to close out the Clippers, and I think they can actually get it done. We have a really big spread here at 8 points. I don't know if I'm going to lay that many points, but what I am going to do is I'm going to take a look at the over here, over 208.5 minus 110 odds. Now, this is a matchup here for the Mavericks where they want this to go over. They want this to be a high-paced game. The last 2 games between these 2 teams have gone over. So for me, if it slows down, if it's more of a half-court game, that favors the Clippers as they have more of the half-court offense and Harden and PG. Meanwhile, the Mavericks, if they can get out in transition with Kyrie, you obviously have Luka, you have Gafford, you have different guys who are running the floor like PJ. For me, that is where the advantage really lies for the Mavericks, and I think for them, if they go over, they can win this game. Like I mentioned, the last 2 games that went over in this series, the first total was a 209 last game, that went over. The game before that, 209.5, went over. The first 3 games of the series went under, but all 3 of those games had higher totals. So 223.5, 216.5, 214.5, all 3 higher totals. All 3 of those games went under. So for me, I just really like the fact that the Mavericks offense has been clicking. They scored 123 points last game, which was a series high. They dropped 111 in the game before that, which was also a previous series high. So I think the offenses are starting to try to figure it out here. The defenses have adjusted. So while at the beginning of it's kind of like a boxing match to me. The beginning of the series was more of like 2 boxers kind of feeling each other out in the beginning rounds. That's why we had more of the lower scoring games. But over the last few games, we've seen more of the high scoring. And I think that's what the advantage of both of these teams lie, especially if you like the Mavericks to win today, then I think they have to score points. So that's why I'm going to lean towards over. Very similar to like what we saw yesterday in the Knicks and 76ers matchup. But because I like the over in this matchup, and if you want to take the Clippers because you think the Clippers are going to force a game 7, then that means that the role players have to step up. Obviously, Harden had a regression game last game, only hitting about 2 of his shots. I think he finished under 10 points. PG didn't shoot the ball that well either. So for me, it depends on the role players here to step up for the Clippers if they're going to force a game 7. So I'm going to go to Zubac here, over 13.5 points, minus 110 odds on FanDuel. Now, this is the thing. Zubac is not somebody that you probably will see me backing too many times here on the channel, especially from a points perspective. But if you look at his numbers thus far in the series, he's actually been scoring the ball. In game 1, he had 20 points. In game 2, he had 13 points, so he hooked. Game 3, 19 points. Game 4, 13 points. And then last game, 15 points. So he's literally gone over this total in 3 of the 5 games, and he's hooked the other 2 times. You love to see that. But he's also getting the field goal attempts. So far in this series, he's averaging 12 field goal attempts per game on 61% shooting. I really love to see that. So for me, this is just a matchup where if you think the Clippers are going to force a game 7, and unless Harden and PG have another game where they're both scoring 70, 80 combined points, which is very hard to see, obviously there's no Kawhi in this matchup, then it depends on the role players to step up for the Clippers, and I think Zubac can be a guy who can get that done. We've also seen during the regular season, the Mavericks give up points to the centers. They give up the 13th most points to centers during the regular season, and I think this is just a matchup here where the Mavericks don't really have anybody on the inside who's strong enough, big enough to handle Zubac? Is he a guy who's going to get the ball in his hand and score a ton of points? Not necessarily, but I do think he has what it takes to be able to score here, and he's been able to score consistently thus far in the series, even grabbing a few offensive rebounds, putting those back in. So for me, if he's active on the glass, which the Clippers need, then he should be able to grab this points total here. So don't overthink it. Same kind of strategy that we did yesterday. We're going with the over to support one team, because if the Mavericks score a lot of points, then they win this game. But then also we'll go with the over with one of the role players, because if the role players step up, then that means that they would have been able to force a game 7 here. So for me, give me Zubac over 13.5 points as our second best bet of the day. Now for my third best bet of the day, let's head to the baseball card. And I'm going to go to the Boston Red Sox here as they take on the Minnesota Twins. I'm going to take them on the first 5 money line, minus 105 odds. Now you're probably asking yourself, Noble, why are you taking the Red Sox here, and especially against the Twins after they've just won 10 games in a row? You're absolutely right. The Twins have won 10 games in a row, and they're looking really good. But the thing about that 10 games in a row, it's a little bit deceiving. The reason why that is, look at the opponents that they've played. They played the White Sox 4 times. They swept them. Then they played the Angels 3 times. They swept them. Then they played the White Sox again 3 times. They swept them. Those 2 teams absolutely suck. The Angels are not good. The White Sox are the worst team in baseball. So yes, it's impressive for you to win 10 games, and every game matters in the major leagues, but at the same time, those are just not an impressive 10 wins. Meanwhile, now they have to face the Red Sox, a team that we've backed here on the channel a few different times and have beaten some decent opponents, and that's why they're 18-14 on the year, which is actually much better than people were expecting them to do. They find themselves right now in 3rd place in the American League East, which is higher than, again, we thought that they would be doing right now at this point in the season. Everybody figured the Red Sox would be finishing in the bottom of the American League East, especially considering all the injuries that they've had and the rotation issues, but the Red Sox have been able to figure it out. And the reason why I'm isolating this game to the first 5 is because of the pitching matchups. So we have Tanner Houck on the mound for the Red Sox. Meanwhile, we have Chris Paddock going on the mound for the Twins. Tanner Houck on the year is 3-2 with a 1.6 ERA. Meanwhile, Chris Paddock is 2-1 on the year with a 5.88 ERA. So it's a little bit more concerning the numbers that Chris Paddock is having for me. And when you look at his last start against the Angels, he went 5 innings. He gave up 8 hits to go with 4 earned runs and 1 home run. That to me is a little bit alarming stat, but they won the game, the Twins did, because they gave him 16 runs worth of run support, but that's not going to happen against Tanner Houck. They're not going to be able to put up that many runs. And meanwhile, Tanner Houck, he placed the Cubs in his last matchup, 6 2/3 innings, 4 hits, 1 run given up to go with 9 strikeouts. That's what you like to see. And if you look at Chris Paddock's numbers this year, every time he stepped up in class against a better opponent, yeah, he shut out the White Sox over 7 innings, but that's the White Sox. When he faced the Baltimore Orioles back on the 16th of April, 5 innings, 12 hits, 9 earned runs he's given up to go with 2 home runs. When he faced the Dodgers, 4 2/3 innings, 6 hits to go with 2 earned runs, 1 home run. When he faced the Brewers, 4 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 home run. So that's what's concerning to me. He's given up the long ball, and you know this is a Red Sox lineup with Devers, with some other individuals who can hit the long ball out, and then also at the same time, Tanner Houck to me has been in better form, has faced better competition in his last 3 starts. He's faced the Cubs, he's faced the Guardians, and he's faced the Guardians again in those 3 combined starts, and one of those starts was that 9-inning 3-hit shutout where he complete game the Guardians. He's only given up 3 runs over a combined 21 2/3 innings. That is really good form. So for me, I'm just going to isolate this to the first 5 for the Red Sox. And if you also kept track of the Twins during that 10-game win streak, they won a lot of those games in the later innings, the 7th, 8th, 9th inning. Even against the White Sox, they were giving up a lot of runs early in games. Their offense just backed them up late. If you want to take the Red Sox on the full game money line, I'm not opposed to that, but I like their bullpen as well. But I'm just going to isolate this to the first 5. So give me the Red Sox here on the first 5 money line as our second best bet of the day. For our last best bet of the day, I'm going to give you guys a little bonus here, a little money line parlay for you guys. And we're going to take the Cardinals and the Jays on the first 5 money line. You parlay those together, that gets you to plus 105 odds. Now, this is just a matchup between 2 teams here where I think the major advantages lie with the pitching here. So first off, for the Cardinals, they're sending Sonny Gray to the mound. Meanwhile, they're facing the White Sox, so you know what that's like. We're just going to fade the White Sox here as we've been fading them year after year, game after game. And the White Sox are sending Brad Keller to the mound. And Brad Keller, in one start this year, because he's more like a relief guy, he pitched 1 2/3 innings. He gave up no hits, no runs, but that means that they're going with a bullpen game, which I'm not a big fan of bullpen games, especially with the White Sox bullpen that's not that strong. So somebody comes in the second inning, maybe the third inning, they give up runs. The form that Sonny Gray's been in, undeniable. 3-1 on the year at the 1.16 ERA. Cardinals are just a better team, better offense. Just take them on the first 5 money line. Meanwhile, the second team we'll take on the first 5 money line is the Toronto Blue Jays, and they're taking on the Washington Nationals. And this is a pitching matchup between Yusei Kikuchi and Patrick Corbin, and this is just a fade on Patrick Corbin. 0-3 on the year at the 6.82 ERA. Meanwhile, Kikuchi has a 2.94 ERA. The Jays are also starting to get it together offensively. They're starting to hit left-handed pitchers a lot better, and we've just seen that Corbin struggle. In his last start against the Marlins, innings pitched to go with 8 hits and 7 runs given up. That's not going to get it done, and that's a Marlins offense. That's not the Jays offense, and I think the Jays offense is a lot better than the Marlins offense, so we're not overthinking it. Just give me 2 of these big favorites here on this Friday card to get it done on the first 5 on the money line. Well, that's it for me today, my friends. 4 best bets that I'm going to give you guys on this Friday card. Give me the over in the Clippers and Mavericks game. Also, give me Zubac over 13.5 points. Give me the Red Sox on the first 5 money line. And let's go with a little 2-team bozo pack with the Cardinals and the Jays on the first 5 money line to get it done. For more picks and plays I'm going to be dropping throughout the day, any other looks, player and props, maybe live bets, call-outs that I'll drop, make sure you click on the link in the description, join the free Discord group, and I'll also have a Nerfy for the day for sure for you since we have a full baseball slate. So make sure you guys be on the lookout for that. And as always, dictate your fate, get to that cheddar, and I'll see you on tomorrow's video. Later, gang.